forget this weakness anymore, and yeah, now look at it, it's like below 200. So yeah, good cover for me, I guess. I don't know. Did you ever invest in Facebook or Meta?
Oh, it's interesting. I think I did at one point a long time ago, back in 2017, when they had a whole Cambridge Analytica fallout. Stock fell from like around 170 to 140, but that was when I played a lot of options. And so I remember when the news first came out, the stock was down like a good 7-8%. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of dollars that way, and that was a lot of money to me back in 2017. And so I think with a name like Facebook, it's down quite a bit now, as with the entire economy. I think investing is just something you want to do with shares, or at the very least leaps that are like deep into money, because you don't want short-term debacles to into myself. Is that I'd be a lot richer if all the money I put into options or trying to day trade, I just bought some nice tech stocks, or even stocks that I know, like the ones I described earlier. I'd be a lot better off. And so I think with a name like Facebook, you can trade it all you want. It's a great company to trade, I believe. But also, if you want to invest, I'd say do so through the actual shares. So that's my story with Facebook there. Besides that, I haven't really touched it. You much of an investor, perhaps in your own account?
I have a couple names in my long term, like Apple. Market will do tomorrow. If I knew that, I would be rich. I don't know what the market will do tomorrow. We're kind of just like playing it as it comes. Obviously we talked about it being super choppy right now, kind of just trading the range. It'll be interesting to see if it breaks down more today. If it breaks down below like 40.80 and starts putting in real new lows, then we're gonna definitely be more bearish on it, right? But for now, it's kind of just consolidating, trading the range. I think a lot is gonna have to do with the CPI number tomorrow, right? So we're waiting for that to come out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Maybe the market's kind of been asleep, kind of trading the range until then to kind of see. The Fed keeps saying that this is maybe the top for inflation, right? I don't know if it is.
Hoping so.
I haven't looked it up. I don't know what the expected number is quite yet. But if it comes in lower, then great. But if it comes in higher, then maybe this is not the top, and we're going to keep going, and that's going to be bad news, right? Some people said Amazon, so let's take a quick look at that. I did take a short on it earlier, just like a low a day or pre-market low there. Short that didn't really work. That was my smallest loss on the day. That was like kind of like a feeler position, but. Bad trading for me today. Well, not necessarily bad trading. These are good trades that I take all the time, but that just didn't work today. So it is what it is. Keep attacking the same trades when I get a chance next time. But Amazon kind of having an inside day today. Down 1%, but less volume again. And it's honestly kind of disappointing. Like I thought there was going to be more fireworks with Amazon after the split. The first day was pretty good. The first day we had like a pretty strong uptrend. We had some good longs off that, made some money. The second day as well, decent uptrend in the morning. But ever since then, the afternoon, the second day there, it just kind of faded. And, yesterday was super choppy. And then today, look at this range, guys. We're trading like maybe like, what is this? Like a $1.50 range, $1.70 range, right? So way tight range today. Not really giving many opportunities. I thought if we broke down pre-market lows, Sean had that short early. He was like, oh, maybe this can see like 115, 116. I thought so too. I thought there was going to be like considerable weakness below 120, but it seems to be kind of just chopping around that area. So until we really start to break down, maybe like a big gap down or something like that, or a negative catalyst, we can kind of look at the short for this one again. But for now, just gonna keep my hands off and trade something else that's moving a bit more.
Definitely, absolutely. It's funny when you said like, oh, Amazon's in a $1 range today. I'm like, no, you can't be serious. It's a bio candidate or something. I'm like, oh, that's right. They did a split. Oh, I thought there would be a lot more action to Amazon as well after the split. I believe it was 4%, like you were mentioning. A big move on the day it happened. But with the markets going on right now, not too much action afterwards, unfortunately. One thing does have a lot of action, however, PBTS now ripping higher and higher, unhalted. This is a name I was in my only winner for today, I should say. I was in around 120. I was in at 120 right after the first halt, right before, I should say. Now 20 cents in the money, not a large position, unfortunately, but my only winner. Again, for a name like this, it's my charts here are kind of messy. I think we had some data issues here. You're not going to see the finest charts. We have wicks all the way to 22. I assure you, it was not $22 at one point. But no, that's my winner for the day. The Qs, Roku now, coming back a little bit. Unfortunately, I got stopped out on these trades. But I think the market now just consolidating, trying to see what happens. Anyways, with all that being said, I'm going to throw it over to Brendan for what's happening now.
There was kind of a back and forth on Chinese regulators saying They haven't looked at the IPO again. And then Bloomberg was reporting that they had, and they'd given it the go-ahead, Reuters as well. So back and forth for BABA. NIO to the downside today on an earnings miss. It wasn't really an earnings miss. The forecast, though, a bit of an issue for NIO, guys. Back over to you.
IPO, I think it was back in late 2020 or 2021, back when Alibaba was at $320, if you guys can believe that. I think it was planning to IPO on the Hong Kong exchange or something like that the next day, but you wake up to the news that I think it got shafted and the regulators are coming in for Jack Ma, and then we haven't seen him for a few months. So I think with the investing in China, it's like you always got to be a little bit careful. You know, it's like you got regulatory issues coming in, you know, left and right, and then you have trade war talks. And so I think the moment Alibaba, a lot of other Chinese stock looking pretty cheap, but you know, now we have delisting fears. So you know, it's when you're holding overnight, you always got to be a little bit careful, is what I say to myself. Anyhow, I'm seeing in the chat people are talking about PETS, TDH Holding, I think, and also a Chinese stock or something like that. Ripping today, up 84% at the moment, trading around 41 cents. This was, I saw a moment ago, above 44 cents, so that's over 100%. So we got 3 stocks today, absolutely ripping. PowerBridge, Next Play, and now Pets as well. I think you know, this looks like a bit of a reversal, unfortunately, with this huge red bar here. If we can't hold 40 cents, I think this looks a little bit nasty. Let's see if we can hold VWAP. But yeah, also a really huge name today. This was trading a little bit mid-20s until we suddenly broke out, hit 44. But yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't really short a name like this, obviously, but I think the run might be taking a pause a little bit. That being said, PBTS still ripping here, $1.38, $1.37. Trying to consolidate a little bit, but not very well. In my final trade, the Qs, oh, do I regret getting on the Qs? We hit a new low, so I got out, but now it's coming right back. So markets doesn't seem in front until we start heading into the CPI numbers tomorrow morning. I think somebody in the chats were saying something like that. Market's probably not going to move an awful lot today. We have to see what happens tomorrow morning. And I think for today, I think interest might just be trading these huge daily movers. It's always refreshing to see, you know, massive parabolic stocks. I know we haven't been seeing too many of these this year since I think the focus has been mainly on the decline of a lot of the larger tech stocks. But back in 2017, 2018, there'd be stocks moving 200, 300, 400% a day. And so it'd be cool to see some of those stocks happening again. I think as I speak, PETS now moving back to the upside just a little bit.
Momentum squeezer stocks, you know, they've kind of lost some interest, but you know, it's nice to kind of see some of them pop up. You know, obviously PBTS today up 250%.
Yeah, jeez.
I see Neil in the chat. He's been talking about that 150 level, and it's kind of turned around right there. So, you know, is this going to halt one more time? We'll see. I have it up on my side screen, so. If it keeps gaining momentum, we'll take a quick look at it there. Someone said SoFi in the chat a couple times, so I just want to take a quick look at SoFi. Another weekday for SoFi today, down almost 6% on the day. It is breaking below the 650 area. 650 seem to have held. Maybe no more NIO breakouts, that's for sure. I think every breakout on NIO, I just seem to get rinsed. So, you know, it is making a stronger move to the upside, but obviously fading a lot of the move today. Just kind of looking back at BABA since we're on kind of the Chinese names. And yeah, that's still kind of fading, showing some weakness. Maybe around 110 kind of giving a bounce. But yeah, no, considerable weakness today from the Chinese ADRs for sure.
Yeah, considerable weakness, not just among the Chinese ADRs, but I think a lot of growth names in general. I see Liberty trading here saying in the chat, S&P bouncing off the 20 on the daily until it forms trend. I'm not holding for a big move. I agree with you, man. I think this market, you know, it's not quite sure what it wants to do. We made a nice bounce up from where we were like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but I think we're having a little bit of trouble moving a little bit higher here. If I can just find a chart, I'll pull it up for you guys real quick. If you take a look at the Qs, actually, this is my index of choice now with the pretty much you know, how many industrial stocks there are in the S&P that I don't really follow. But we're trying to hold this range, trying to move one way or the other. And I think it just depends on where the CPI comes out to, you know, tomorrow. This range, I think, between around 303, we'll say, and 310, 311. So where we move tomorrow, I think, completely depends on just the inflation reading. I'm not sure if you guys, you know, ever feel this, but, you know, when you're like about to like get sick, I think that's exactly where the market is right now before we see the GDP reading as well for a Q2, whether or not we actually head into the recession. The market now, it's in a bit of a weird limbo. I know GDP was down 1.5% in the first quarter. Now we'll see inflation readings. Did we see the peak of inflation? And if we did not, how far actually is inflation falling now that we actually see interest rates rising quite substantially over here? And so I think the market right now, it's sleeping. it's sleeping and it's trying to wake up tomorrow morning and trying to see, oh, am I all good? Can I go to work? Is my life okay? Am I feeling good? Or oh, this is no good. I'm actually sick now. So then we'll enter into recession when the GDP is pretty much red for 2 straight quarters. But pretty much that's where I think the market is at the moment. Indecisive again. I think we have some huge reading coming up this month and the next. And so, can't show this. But yeah, we shall see what kind of happens, in the coming weeks and months.
Someone asked a good question here, and we can both give our insights on it.
Absolutely.
I'd love to hear about what it's like working there, totally unfamiliar with trading firms. So, obviously Tony's working in the back office. I'm working on the trading floor, of course. But yeah, we can kind of give 2 different insights on it. Mm-hmm. I think for the trading floor, it's been huge for my trading, honestly. Ever since I started here, it's all been about improving and, kind of working on what I already know. And applying that, but also kind of learning from the experience of all these people around me and the others who have been trading for so much longer, right? So, everyone's super encouraging, and we're all trying to help each other. And even though you are trading alone, you obviously are trading your own account. We do kind of work together and generate like ideas and together and help each other improve. We're always trying to push each other and help each other improve, and that's what all trading is all about, right? So the time on the trading floor for me has been amazing. No doubt. How has it been in the back office?
Oh, it's been all quiet in the Western Front on the back office. I say that term pretty frequently, but I think it kind of feels like that. I actually don't trade too often for myself or for the firm anymore. I think I'm more involved on the data analytics side, looking a little bit more at SQL Server, Power BI, just basic simple tools to use there. I'm not an expert at either of those, but I'm always learning. It feels good. I think it's always nice to be involved with the financial markets. For me, even though I'm not trading, I'm analyzing data of different trades, of pretty much how our algo trades, how our system trades, and it's been very fun. I think the environment here has been very supportive, very, very encouraging. I come to work excited every day. I had a few jobs in the past, not throwing shade at any of them, but there's certain jobs where you're kind of worried about going to the office. So will I meet this deadline? Is the manager going to be impressed with my work? Here, I think I've been given a tremendous amount of freedom. Our boss here, Dan, he's very nice to me. He
to be successful, right? Obviously with the platform and everything, direct market access, there's that, which is obviously a huge bonus. But just having the resources available, and someone mentioned, having mentors. I was lucky enough, so I came here basically right when the office kind of opened back. Mm-hmm. After they started welcoming everyone back.
Yeah, you're the first one in.
I was one of the first ones in, and Greg said I was just a newly hired trainee at the time, and Greg said, "Oh, whoever wants to come to the office, you're obviously more than welcome." And I said, "Of course, I'll be there first day," and I was, and I've been lucky to kind of been taken under the wing by all the graduates at that time. So they're kind of like my collective mentors, and then obviously like Neil, Sean, and Brendan, and everyone else, taking their insights as well. But I've been lucky to have a bunch of mentors. So that's what else you get by joining the trading floor. And I think Bears versus Bulls put the link in there to join. Yeah, just send your resume in, and then we'll see. Maybe you can join the floor with us here.
Absolutely, and I know I speak on behalf of the floor. We couldn't be any happier to have you come on board in the past few months. I know you've been making the place a very, very lively, enjoyable place. Always good seeing you. I know I'm not on this floor, but we seem to have the same schedule for when to use the restroom, so I see you there pretty often. Always have a nice conversation. So Ian, what a wonderful guy. Couldn't be any happier to have him on the floor here. The market's here moving quite a bit. I haven't taken quite a bit of a look at some of the plays I was in. I think PBTS now fading back a little bit, PETS as well. I think trying to break below VWAP, unfortunately. But back to... regarding the trading floor, it's always a nice environment. There's one thing trading by yourself. You wake up to trade at your desk, you look at the markets, but it's hard to suffer a bad day, and it's great to when you make money. But when you're on a floor, the environment's completely different. It's always nice to be around other people, and to share your trades and to learn from others, and others to learn from you. And so it couldn't be any happier to talk about to be on the trading floor. But nonetheless, I think now the markets are starting to move to the downside. Q's now down to 0.3%. Luckily, I got out of my long position there because we are breaking down just a little bit. PBTS, my next in my position there, my entry was around 120, so I'm about 9 cents in the money. Not a huge play, but I think luckily, at least a winning trade for me at the moment. PETS looks like we're cooling off a little bit, trying to hold VWAP, but we had some wick candles below it. See what happens there. But the markets here, we're really, really starting to not accelerate to the downside. 6 is nothing compared to what we've seen recently. I did notice a little bit of a divergence, however, with some of the growth stocks and some of the larger names. Not so much now, but I think some of the larger names like Apple are correcting their valuations, albeit a little bit more slowly than the rest of the markets. And you won't really see this, but like you see Apple bottomed at around May, later into May, we see some other names. I don't think